Thank you for joining Trinity Tabernacle, where we teach, preach, and live the gospel.
For the Bible said that he heard. So whenever we have a symptom, some of our other instincts ought to kick in, work a little stronger. When your arm stops working, one arm stops working, your other arm ought to become a little stronger. When your one leg stops working, your other leg ought to become a little stronger. So since the man had some physical ailments, his ears were more in tune because his eyes were not able to see. It didn't say that him and Jesus had conversations before this, because when you look at the text and reverse back all the way to Mark, to Luke, and to John, you will not see this man's name mentioned any other where else where he had a conversation with Jesus. So this is the first time that he has had this experience with Jesus, but he heard his voice. How amazing is it that you can hear Jesus and you've never seen him before, but because your spirit is in tune with, I need something from God. I need somebody to help me. I need somebody to help satisfy this thirst, that whenever the opportunity comes, because my ears are in tune with the will of God, that I'm going to hear it coming even if I can't see it. He said that he heard that Jesus was coming. Heard him in the crowd, in the midst of the quinceañera going on across the street. He heard Jesus in the midst of all of that. He heard his footsteps walking down the dirt road without him wearing shoes that were going to echo. He heard his name being praised without anybody saying any word, because they were walking all silently together in a crowd. He heard Jesus was coming. When do you hear Jesus coming? In the midst of doing homework, or in the midst of doing your regular work, or in the midst of cleaning up around the house, in the midst of driving down 35 with your music going, with the wind blowing in your ear, or traffic going side by side, horns blowing, and noise from the other vehicles. When do you hear Jesus coming? We have to activate all of our senses, because the enemy is great at distracting us with the obvious. If the man would have allowed his paralysis, his blindness, to impact his destiny, he wouldn't have been able to hear Jesus coming. Pain is a great distraction from us hearing Jesus coming. Disappointment is a great distraction from us hearing Jesus coming. Isolation, financial issues, all of that are great ways or distractions that the enemy uses for us to not to hear that Jesus is coming. But we have to wake up, because he's gonna come. And when he comes, we have to be able to hear him, feel him, smell him, see him whenever he comes. The Bible said that he heard that Jesus was coming from the other side of the street. He heard that Jesus was coming. In a crowd of 5,000 people, he heard that Jesus was coming, and he began to cry out. When was the last time that you cried out when you heard that Jesus was coming? When you heard that there was somebody that was coming, that was going to tend to your needs, that was going to solve all of your problems, that was going to make those tears dry up and give you a hope and an expected end? When did you cry out and say, "Over here, Master, here I am. Lord, whatever you do, don't pass me by. Don't keep on going, because you're in the midst of the crowd and you can't get to me." He made enough noise so that Jesus would stop what he was doing, stop on his way from going to another ministry to see about a servant. When was the last time that you cried out and said, it's me? I know you got things to do, God, but it's me. I know I'm not the only person that has an issue, but God, it's me. I know that my dealings right now might not be as severe as where you're going, but God, it's me. And I don't have anybody else to call on. So in the midst of you being in the crowd, I'm going to scream out, Yeshua, Son of the Most High God. Jesus, Mary's baby boy, Rabboni, Messiah, is me, Richard. Yes, I'm not where I want to be, because you see me here begging, and I'm not proud of that. But I need you to help me become what I want, what I need to become. He cried out and said, Son of David, have mercy on me. Mercy looks like not giving you what you deserve. For he might have deserved for Jesus to walk by. But he says, Lord, do not pass me by, but help me. Have mercy on me. He says, Lord, I know what I have done. I know what you've seen me do, but have mercy on me. Sometimes we have to get to the point in life where we don't allow the pride of life to separate us from the opportunities that God has in front of us. That we don't allow our own nature to dissolve the blessing that God has said is for us, because we won't cry out, because we don't want God to see us in the light that we're in. We don't want him to see us with our ragged clothes, which represents our spirit that has been torn up because of the things that we have allowed to come into our lives that have tormented us, that have allowed us to be persecuted, that allowed us to suffer, to be victimized, to be abused. We don't want God to see us in that way. So we say instead, until I come get better, I won't go to God. Sometimes we won't come to God thinking that we've been displaced for so long. How can I go back to God when I've been in this position, in this predicament for so long, and I'm far from him, and we allow our pride to stop us from getting closer to God. But this man, Bartimaeus, says, I don't care if I'm dusty, dirty, lonely, stinking, in need. I need Jesus.